Hey there, everybody. How are you today? I'm Shelly Palmer, and welcome to Web3 Wednesday. This is a live stream here for YouTube Live. I am in New York City today. Mainnet's happening. The UN is in session. All kinds of extraordinary stuff is going on today. Chat is where it's at. I see a whole bunch of you are here, so please tell us who you are, where you are. David Charmont's welcome from Denver, and Frank Quinn attending with a broken shoulder. Can't chat much. I'm so sorry to hear that. Get well soon. I know what the shoulder thing feels like. Good morning from Washington State. I'm glad you guys are here. We are just having the most busy time. I know that there's all kinds of strife and craziness going on in the world, but wow, is it busy. So one of the things I wanted to talk about just before everybody shows up and gets here today, Uber got hacked hard this past week. Not just a little bit. They really got slammed. And it was done through the most low-tech methodology I could ever imagine. It was purely socially engineered. Social engineering, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, is when you are just tricked. Hey, 2 tickets to Star Wars, or something you might want. In this case, the hacker sent a note to someone inside and said, "Hi, I'm from IT, and we need to do this, and this, and give me your credentials, and I'll figure it out." And the person, feeling that it was the right thing, decided, "Okay, I'm going to go for it." And the rest, as they say, is history. Uber got really brutally hacked. And one of the things, I wrote about it earlier this week, but I think it's worth talking about. One of the things that we all do as people, and I'm especially guilty of, is defaulting to trust. When you meet somebody, unless you're under threat or you're in a suspicious situation or in a place where you're really unfamiliar and you're not sure who the strangers are, we default to trust. We will immediately trust people because you don't want to be a jerk. You don't want to be super negative or super paranoid all the time. First of all, nobody will like you when you do that. And I think everybody's got their own way that they interact socially. But online, I think it is important, super important, that we all default to distrust. I think you have to immediately distrust everything you see online, no matter what. And that is not our normal way, right? Our normal way is not to default to distrust, but we have no choice now. And what that means, defaulting to distrust, is never, ever clicking on anything. Someone sends you a meme as an attachment, someone sends you a video file, someone sends you a link to something, you would be out of your mind, truly out of your mind, to click on it. There's no point. If you didn't ask for it, you shouldn't open it. If you didn't ask for it, specifically of the person, you shouldn't click on it. Default to distrust. That's where you have to be. Nobody who likes you or no one who's your friend is going to be sad you accidentally deleted an email or you did delete an email. And by the way, those of you who have previews, like I have previews in my Google Gmail and also in Outlook, there, you see the previews. The preview doesn't look right. Why would you even open the email? Why? Doesn't make any sense. So while in real life, I think we can all default to trust, I think in online life, I think we have no choice but to not fall into the truth trap, and we have to default to distrust. You know that I am all over this idea of everybody continuing this conversation all the time on Discord. It's discord.gg/Shelly Palmer. That's our Discord server. And all the conversations we have here, we have there, and all the conversations that start with our morning email will end up there as well. I see Seth Everett here. Oh, while I have Seth, I see that Seth is here. Seth and I do a podcast called Tech Stream. It drops on Tuesdays. It is awesome. Seth is awesome. He's in chat right now. So you want to talk to Seth? You can. You want to talk to me? You can too, because I'm in chat too. So anyway, glad everybody is here. You could join us any Tuesday morning, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Google's Play Store and somewhere else, which I forget, to be fair. But pretty much wherever podcasts are sold. And of course, today is POAP Day. You can get your POAP. That is a proof of attendance protocol token. You go to shellypalmer.com/POAP, collect 5 of them, and you will get some good, fun things to do. We are doing dinners and salons and cocktail parties at all kinds of major events. The big event coming up now is CES 2023 in Las Vegas in January. If you're going, we'll be having a POAP breakfast, a Shelly Palmer POAP breakfast salon. It'll be really fun. And there'll be some other special surprise stuff in April if you're down at the Fontainebleau. If you're down at the Possible Conference, we'll be doing stuff down there too. So your POAP is your Proof of Attendance Protocol token. It is an NFT. It has no cost to you whatsoever. You can collect them by just sending us an email, and then you'll get an email back with a link. Okay, this previous week, I abandoned my mining operation like everybody else as Ethereum went from proof of work to proof of stake. By the way, I guess I should just quickly say that if you are in chat, please say where you are, say what you're doing, say like, I see chat is very active right now. Which day for breakfast? Not sure yet. Probably Friday morning is going to be the breakfast for the POAP people at CES, by the way. So anyway, yeah, just chat's where it's at. Say where you are, say what you do. You guys obviously always talk to each other in a really wonderful way. So today is a good day for that. So many wonderful people are here. Laura, Mary Beth, Venus, great to have you here. Bob Sopko, amazing, amazing, amazing. So welcome everybody. You know, tell everybody what you're doing, and hey. So anyway, I abandoned my mining operation. The night, about 3-4 hours. Turned out to be about what I thought was 3-4 hours. Turned out to be about 6 hours before the merge. It was the end of an era. I was really sad. I did a little ceremony. I sort of went and grabbed everything. Then I asked my Amazon Echo, because I can't say it because it's here, to ask Spotify to play What a Fool Believes at level 10, volume 10. And then I just turned off the mining operation. The mining rig was gone. That was it. Done. No more mining. Kind of sad, really. But we're now in proof of stake. Ethereum's pricing has really, really been terrible. The whole of crypto has been awful. And we don't usually talk about prices here. I don't think I want to talk price today. But let me just see what Ethereum is trading at. I'm not going to guess why, to be fair. But let's just see what it's trading at right now, just for fun. Ethereum's at 1346. Bitcoin's at 19,231. Polygon's at 73 cents. Cardano's at 44 cents. And Polkadot's at Dot is at $6.30. Terrifying. I mean, Ethereum not doing great. But all the miners who were in proof of work had GPUs for Ethereum, lots of them. I was mining on a bunch of 3080 cards. Well, and they're expensive. They're a couple $1,000. Now they're all over eBay for like $1,000. And just today or yesterday, Nvidia announced the new RTX 4090 cards and the 4080 GPUs. These are going to be used for gaming, I think, because there's no way to use them for mining Ethereum, and there's nothing really else to mine that you would mine with a GPU that you can make any money at. These cards are really expensive. The computers they run on are really expensive, and you just can't make enough money mining. So that is done. What you can do after you give up your proof of work mining, which everyone was forced to do, is you can get into a proof of stake pool. And that's sort of where I want to talk today, because a lot of things come together in this idea of proof of stake. First of all, this is not financial advice. We don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like it. This show is for information and entertainment. Should you be thinking about an investment in cryptocurrency, you should, in fact, consult a licensed professional financial advisor. And remember that all crypto investments are inherently risky. In fact, you definitely want to get some pro advice before you get into it. Now, that said, so I've been mining for years and years and years. And of course, you can't do it anymore. So the option is you can now stake. And what does that mean? Staking your Ethereum is you take 32 ETH, 32 coins, and you either put them in a staking pool with other people, like if you don't have all 32 available, because that's a lot, you can go and get into a group the same way that you could be in a mining pool, you can be in a staking pool. Or you can follow the instructions at ethereum.org and you can set up your own staking validator node. I'm not going to do either one. That's me personally. Why am I not going to do either one? I'm not going to do either one because It's way too much technical difficulty. Way too much technical difficulty for me to do solo staking. And not from a setting it up perspective, by the way. Setting it up is absolutely child's play. Absolutely child's play. There's nothing complicated about it. There's nothing scary about it. You just do it. Problem is that when you stake ETH under the current rules, if your system goes offline and you're not on top of it, or if you don't do a software update, or if it does something wonky, and computers do wonky stuff, they can slash your stake. And so while you can make, I think they're offering like 4.3 something percent is what I saw yesterday. If you stake your ETH, you could have your machine go offline, if you're me, while I'm on an airplane, or machines. And if I have someone working it every single day, like I don't want the risk of me being on an airplane, the thing being offline for 5 hours, and then I find out I've gotten slashed, meaning that they've taken some amount of ETH away because my machine wasn't online, or it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. And that is a very real possibility. So being in a staking pool doesn't seem to make sense to me, because it's just tying up an awful lot of money in a way that doesn't make sense. Everyone should make their own decisions about that. This is not financial advice. This is what I'm going to do. And as far as just setting up a staking computer, it's like, it's just not that interesting. First of all, it just sits there and doesn't do anything. You got to keep it updated, got to keep it patched, got to keep it working. I know how it works. I set it up in the test net. I had it fully going on Beacon Chain, the test version of Beacon Chain, like for 6 months. I set it up and was like, because I thought I was going to do it. And I thought about the finances, and for me personally, it just didn't work. So yeah, that's where I'm not going. What are we doing here? Oh, Twitter. All you guys. See you all online right now. Bob and Tom and Eric and David Hool and all you guys. Tweet something. Like, do something, like just tweet about this show like now. Just go to Twitter, @Shelly Palmer. Do the mention. Do not put @Shelly Palmer in the front of your tweet without a period first or some other character. Just take a picture of the screen, write something. Say Shelly's a genius. Say Shelly's a jerk. I don't care what you say. Tweet something about Web3 Wednesday, and just tweet to me or about whatever it is we're working on. That'd be awesome. Now, back to our story. Ethereum is now gone from proof of work to proof of stake. Instantly upon this transition. And by the way, this has been coming for years. So all of a sudden, the United States government wakes up and the SEC says, two things. One, it seems like most of the Ethereum servers are in the United States. And since that's true, we're going to make the bold claim that all Ethereum transactions are domestic, and therefore it comes under our jurisdiction. And that's fascinating. But the second most interesting thing was that Gary Gensler basically said, well, now the Howey test is passed, meaning that proof of stake is indistinguishable from a security, because you're putting your money into a thing that's going to give you an interest rate. And all of the parts where we had the one part of the Howey test that wasn't passed, which is this idea that decentralization caused these not to be securities. Most securities are centralized. They're issued by the companies that you're buying the security. And here, Ethereum, you weren't buying in a position of a company. You were buying a coin in an open exchange from a undisclosed, well, you didn't need to know who you were buying it from. Anyway, that's all done now, because whoever's giving you the interest, you know who they are. If you put this in a Coinbase staking pool, then everybody knows where all the money's coming from, and you get a predefined. It's really interesting. Now, everyone's known this is coming for a long time. Why the SEC just made this little statement this week, that's really interesting. Put your questions in chat, by the way, here in YouTube Live, right in the chat, and I will do my best to get them on the screen and answer them. Let's see, we have... Oh, this is interesting. How did you know that? I saw you're speaking in Germany next week. Anything fun? Oh, I guess it's on our website. Gary J. Okay, Gary J. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to a sports tech conference in Germany next week, and I'm going to do a keynote there. I'm very excited about it. It's in Frankfurt, the home of Bundesliga. DFL, very, very exciting. I had given a speech a couple months ago at a thing called Sports Innovation 2022, and some of the principles of this conference, which you can learn about at shellypalmer.com under the speaking page. They asked me to come. I'm very excited about going to Frankfurt. First of all, I love the town. I love Germany in general. I just love Germany and going there. They take their football, soccer, very, very seriously there, and it is super, super, super awesome. I spend a lot of time. What do I know about Bundesliga, Eric? Well, what I know about Bundesliga is I know several of the executives there. I've had a wonderful, wonderful time a few months back. I was in Dusseldorf and got to see a game or two, and we had just a ton of fun talking about the potential future of fan experiences at arenas and stadiums in Germany, because that's what my company works on. We work on our tech consultancy works on Web3 and fan experience and fan development and audience development, and how you would use these tools to enrich an in-arena or an in-stadium experience. So that's what I was doing there, and that's what I'll be doing there now. We'll be talking about that. We're talking about Web3, and we're going to be talking about a lot of the things that have changed in the last few months. It's a very different world. Crypto winter is fully in force. A lot of the get-rich-quick people have gone away, as you know. A lot of them have. Many crypto millionaires are now crypto thousandaires, making them a little less of a pain in the neck when it comes to telling us how much money they made and how cool they are, and like all that has calmed down a little bit. So that's pretty good. Anyway, so the SEC has claimed some jurisdiction over Ethereum, and more to the point, just this week, the Biden White House put out a framework, and you can grab this framework at shellypalmer.com or just go to whitehouse.gov and get it. Now, a few months ago, the administration asked 9 of the agencies in Washington, SEC, FTC, et cetera, to come up with their reports, their best guess at what a policy framework would look like if they were to start to think about regulation of cryptocurrency. They have spoken, and so there is a thing called there's a White House statement where they call the statement the first ever comprehensive framework for responsible development of digital assets. That's what the White House is calling this inside they're calling their statement that. It's not light reading. In fact, it's very heavy reading, and there's teeth in there. And if you're thinking about cryptocurrency and you're thinking about Web3 and you're thinking about decentralized finance, this is a read you kind of cannot avoid. You absolutely cannot avoid. You must get there. Let's see, Jonathan Carmel, welcome. First of all, if I hold ETH at a DEX, am I automatically part of a staking pool? No. If not, can the DEX use my ETH to take part? No. If so, do they keep the staking fees? Well, answer to the first part is no and no. No. Your ETH is in, first of all, if you hold your ETH at a DEX, you are playing with fire in a way that is almost unimaginable. You should keep again, this is practical advice, not financial advice. You should keep 100% of your cryptocurrency in hardware wallets and only move them to an exchange when you are planning to trade, and only at that moment should it be there, and then you should pull your currency off the exchange. There's no reason, there's absolutely no justification for leaving any coins at Coinbase or any DEX or anywhere for any reason ever. Like, not your keys, not your coins. Just don't do it. You want to trade? Okay, today's a trading day. So you go there, you load up with whatever you're going to load up with. You're going to Coinbase or Coinbase Pro, whatever they call their thing, Advanced Coinbase now. Or you're going over to Binance if you are in a jurisdiction where you can use Binance or FTX. Not all these exchanges are available to everybody. If you're a Uniswap person, and depending if you're on a centralized or a decentralized exchange, this applies to everybody. I don't care who they are. You only put your coins on an exchange when you are trading, and as soon as you're done trading, you put them all back in your hardware wallet. Will there be some gas fees on ETH? Yeah, there will be. Does that make you sad? Yeah, it makes you a little bit sad. It's going to cost you $5 to pull your stuff off of there. Pull it off. Because if the DEX goes south or something stupid happens, you're going to know and you'll be on the wrong end of that. You'll be on the business end of that weapon, and you don't want to be on the business end of the weapon. You just don't. So yeah, my advice. But they can't just go and willy-nilly grab your stuff. And a DEX is not a fractional lending environment. You're only staking your ETH if you stake it. And by the way, when you stake it, it's locked up now until they tell you it isn't. Some of the staking pools will let you pull it out. Most of them won't. Or if they do, there are some restrictions. It's sort of like, and by the way, it's all over the map, so there's no blanket statement here. One exchange I was on last week, right after the merge, was allowing you to take stuff in and out, but for a fee. Sort of like those certificates of deposits that had a penalty back in the old days, or maybe even today, where you're supposed to commit your money for 6 months or a year or whatever, and if you take it out early, there's a penalty. Same. Others were saying you just have to leave it in until the rules change, which will be, I don't know, as soon as Ethereum says the rules have changed, and then you'll be able to move your staked ETH out of the staking pools, whether it's yours, whether you're in a pool or if you're staking yourself. You're staking yourself, you're locked in. So, yeah, not a great thing. By the way, it's not a great thing. The interest rate is okay. Again, not financial advice, but make your own decisions. Either way, do not ever leave any coins of any kind anywhere other than your hardware wallet. That's the only place it can be for safekeeping. That is really safe. And it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Share your private keys with no one under any circumstances, no matter what. And if you're in a situation where you need to share your private keys, set up a new wallet and only have in that wallet what is you are willing to have walk out the door based on the risk profile you've assigned to whatever it is you're doing, because there's a really good chance that's going to go somewhere you don't want it to go. Speaking of places you might want to go, medacademy.com. All of you who are here know that it is our totally risk-free, totally free, no advertising, no pressure place to learn all about the things we're talking about right now. So you'll get a MetaMask wallet and you'll fill it with test currency off the RinkB network, and then you will learn all about tokenomics. We'll teach you about meme coins and altcoins and stable coins and CBDCs and all the kinds of different cryptos out there. Then we will teach you how to mint an NFT, which is a smart contract. You'll learn how to read that metadata. You'll learn how to mint a generative NFT. They're a little less popular today than they were a year ago, but they're still a pretty popular form of entertainment. And then we'll talk deeply again about tokenomics, and all along you will earn badges. So you're in an engaged to earn model, and ultimately you'll become Web3 certified, or you'll get a certificate of completion at the end. We have 2 new sections coming in a couple of weeks. We'll break this down. The first section of Meta Academy, the one that's there now, the 15 sections, will become NFTs and cryptocurrency, and then the second sections will be Metaverse and Web3. So we're going to have we're going to break this stuff up and add a lot more content and a lot more ways to help you understand what it is that that's going on with pretty much the world of decentralized finance and whatever Web3 is going to turn out to be. Amazon's first big Thursday night was last week. Another one is tomorrow night. This is Web3 Wednesday, so tomorrow they'll have their second game. It was nice. It was the Chargers in Kansas City. The Chiefs won 27-24. A lot of people complained about the audio quality. There were some audio issues, and a lot of people complained they couldn't get the stream. There's only one way to look at this. This is the beginning of an era, not the end of an era. This is the very, very beginning of where the cool kids are going to hang out. As goes football, so goes the world of television and media. Amazon dropped $1 billion a year. What did they get? They got a big audience. Thursday Night Football was the second most watched television show of 2021. First being Sunday Night Football with roughly 18 million viewers a week, and coming in a fairly close second at 15 million viewers a week was Thursday Night Football. So Amazon now has that, and I'm sure they didn't have 15 million people Thursday night. Nielsen will partner with Amazon, and they will give us a number. I can't think of anything less relevant right now, sorry Dave Kenny, than Nielsen. Can't think of it. Amazon doesn't need one Nielsen rating to know that this was successful. They had the most number of signups for Prime in any 3-hour period they've ever had. That includes being on a Prime day. They didn't disclose the number, but they were pretty excited about it in an internal email that everybody got a hold of. And I think it's pretty clear that they were advertising a lot of their own products. Think about the size of this audience for Amazon. And this is not necessarily people who would be Prime members automatically. Sure, there are plenty of Prime members that showed up. A lot of new people, a lot of new audience members. Are they new to streaming? Probably not. Are they new to streaming live football with commercials? This is broadcast television over the public internet that you have to pay for. Not only do you need to drop whatever Amazon's going to charge you for Prime, $120, $30, whatever it is now. You got to buy a decent internet connection. And half of the problem that everybody was having, the people are complaining about on Twitter and on social media, was that they just had poor internet connectivity, not enough bandwidth in the house. If you got your significant other doing watching something else and you're watching football and you had a couple kids doing homework or whatever they're doing, everybody's online, you may hit your data cap, the data cap you didn't know you had. Any number of things could go differently than you believe they could go. So we're at the cusp, the very beginning of what it is going to be like to have fully cut cords, meaning no more cable, just internet, and all of your media will be streamed over the public internet. This also says a lot about streaming data, because we think about streaming video, you have to remember it's streaming data. It's a special kind of streaming data, and that every single bit has to sort of get there exactly at the same time. You can't have it go like the way you could download a Word document or something, or a spreadsheet, where it just has to get collected and then ultimately you can download it. Here, when video buffers, you see the spinning ball of buffering. And so that's not acceptable. No one likes that at all. So video bits have to get there in real time. But by the way, streaming data that has to get to your self-driving car. Self-driving car is coming to a yellow light. Should it slow down, speed up, or stop? If it's 100% edge computed, if all that computation is happening in the car, that's one thing. But if it's relying on any network anywhere, if it's relying on any streaming data for input, traffic, weather, any of that, that has to get there pretty quick. That's streaming data too. If we end up with augmented reality glasses or goggles and we're going to a stadium or an arena, we're going to watch a sporting event, some data is going to be static or less dynamic, that player stats, historical player stats are going to sit in a big database. But whatever's happening on the field right now, that's going to be in real time, and that will be dynamic data. So we're coming into a world where we're going to start to have to mix streaming data and static data or less dynamic data. And this is cause for all kinds of new tools and new approaches to how we interact and make this data actionable. So there's a lot of lessons here, a lot of lessons here. I would not be doing myself any favors if I didn't tell you about Blockchain the book, which is all embodied in Med Academy. But here at shellypalmer.com/blockchain, we have all kinds of resources for you. And there's a database there that we keep up to date, and it's filled with all kinds of interesting companies that we're looking at every day. It's actually a wonderful resource. We use it for ourselves. We just make it available to you. So I hope that you will use it. And if you've got some suggestions of things we should add, please let us know. We're always looking for the next new thing and the existing new thing and whatever's really happening. So yeah, we'd love you to go there. So last week, the week before, last week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. No, last week. Sorry. All of my timing is completely wrong. Last Tuesday, many of you know I teach at Syracuse University. I am the professor of advanced media in residence at the Newhouse School of Public Communications. That's at Syracuse. It's a wonderful school. I have an unbelievable class. I teach graduate students about advanced media. And I have agreed to go up there. I teach on Zoom mostly, but I agreed to go up there twice a semester in person. So I was on my way up there. And I went to LaGuardia Airport, which is right by my house here in the city. And I'm walking through the airport. It was a morning it was an early morning. And these two women are walking past me. Now, I don't know if you've been to the new LaGuardia Airport, like the Delta terminal is like brand spanking new. The airport's under construction. I think they're spending billions of dollars on this place. It's pretty high tech, and it looks, I don't know, it feels otherworldly to me. It's super high ceilings, marble everywhere, and really nice signage. So these two women walk past me, and one says to the other, "That was the best hamburger I ever ate." And the other one says, "Yeah, well, Shake Shack is," and then she got out of my hearing, and I was walking one direction, they were walking the other. Within about 50 steps, I was passing by the Shake Shack they were talking about. And I thought to myself, speaking of streaming data, what's that going to look like in the metaverse? I'm traveling through Decentraland or Roblox or the Sandbox, and I hear two people talking about something. Are they A, real people? Is it B, a bot? Is it C, a setup? What data did I give up, location data, personal data, that allowed some system to cluster and classify me based on my location? It's like, wow, here I am, and it understands me, and it understands where I am, and it's decided that I'm going to be, I don't know what to say about this, deep faked. That's not a real ad. Oh, yes, it is. That's as much of an ad as an infomercial was back in the day. So I think that's fascinating. Like, we had the very first infomercial that I am aware of, I actually worked on, called Shea Basics. This woman, I think her name was Linda Shea, and Shea Basics, it was we're really early now. We're talking, I'm going to say 85 at the latest. And this was a TV show, but the only commercials in the TV show, and it was all about the natural ingredients and all that, and how it helps you with skin creams, a bunch of skin creams. And the company that did it, that was our client, made hundreds of millions of dollars off of this infomercial. It didn't have any disclosures about not being a TV show. It was one of the very first ones. Synchronal Technologies, I think, was the name of the company that was doing it. You could check me on it. I'm almost positive it was Synchronal Technologies. But I felt like as I was walking through the airport, when I heard this, I just heard this audio, and kind of out of the corner of my eye, saw these two women. I wouldn't recognize them if they were standing here. I realized that I just got infomercialed. What does that look like in the metaverse? So how many avatars am I going to need? Am I going to need one avatar? Am I going to need as many avatars as I have email addresses? For example, I have my work email, I have my home email, I have my super duper secure, only me, real life, give it to my friends, no one else gets to it email. I've got my junk email, where every time a website says you have to, give them all your vitals and an email address in order to double opt in, and it's not an email, it's not a website I think I'm going to want to go to a lot. I use my super junk email. So I had 4 that I use constantly and another couple that I use once in a while. So am I going to need an avatar for each one of those use cases? And if I do, will some be photorealistic and others be cartoon? And if that's true, what could ever possibly be real ever again? Ever. I call your attention to 3 tools that you need to have a look at. Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and DALL-E 2. There are some others out there. OpenAI has a couple. All of these will open your eyes to what may or may not be happening. And I just think it's totally and completely fascinating. I am absolutely stunned by what is about to happen. And yeah. So anyway, we have a question here. Let me see if I can grab this question real quick. Let's see. Billy D, I got to read this, though. It's like tiny little print. What are your thoughts of fiat payments growing the NFT industry? Will it be the norm someday? Yeah, will it? So I think, personally and professionally, I am completely sure that the only way that NFTs move forward is if people don't have to have crypto wallets in any manner, shape, or form. None, zero. Everything's credit card. And there'll be a proxy wallet, and if you want to take custody of it, you will. I think this gets really interesting when Google Pay and Apple Pay and Samsung Pay and a couple others will let you fully display your NFTs and have all of your crypto seamlessly in one wallet. So if you took out your iPhone or you took out your Samsung phone and Samsung Pay or Apple Pay had all your crypto in it and your NFTs were sitting there for display, now it's just part of the Apple world, part of the Samsung world, part of the Google world. But until that day, all you really want is people to put down a credit card and be able to just have the NFTs they want. And NFTs now, remember, all NFTs are smart contracts. It could represent anything. Will it represent a digital collectible? Sure. Will it represent a ticket? Possibly. Will it represent a token that would allow you to do some gambling or fantasy sports? Yes. Would it authenticate maybe game-worn memorabilia? I saw that Aaron Judge is one hit away from an amazing record. I think it's Roger Maris's record. And I was wondering, a guy caught the ball and gave it back to him. I thought that was cool. But the thing I wondered about is if that baseball had a serial number and was fully authenticated and there was an NFT, there could be a digital twin of those balls that were, and it would just be like, it's just cool. It's just a cool way to think about some of that stuff. So yeah, I'm fully sure it's going to be all about making it super easy. It also makes it completely not crypto, and it also makes it completely not decentralized. And there we're going to have a fight. I think that fight is so important, and I don't know how to talk about what that war is going to look like. You've got the government of the United States and pretty much governments around the world talking about their central bank digital currencies and that are going to be stable coins, basically a digital US dollar. Nothing could interest me less in the world than a digital US dollar. Nothing. I have no interest in it at all. None. I don't like the fact that Uncle Sam knows about every nickel I spend over a certain amount of money every day anyway. I have to report 100% of my income to the government. I have to do the reporting is terrifyingly burdensome. Some people will say, well, it's easier if the government just has this information immediately, and if they had digital dollars, they would be able to know what's in your wallet because they could see it. And they'd be able to tax you much more easily because, well, they know how much money you made and how much money you spent. I'm sorry. I think the government is in my face enough right now. I don't know that I want to have that. You're paying for cryptos with fiat currency with a credit card. There's nothing decentralized about that. You might be able to sell it on a decentralized marketplace to someone you don't know. You could sell it on a centralized marketplace to somebody you don't know. Your experience won't be any different. Read the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper from 2008. Just Google it and read it. It's an easy read. It was, I think, probably born out of the housing crisis of 2008. It's a very, very, very good read, and I would hope you do it. So let's see. Oh, remember, while I still have you here, while everybody's still here, remember, today is POAP Day, so go to shellypalmer.com/POAP and get your actually proof of attendance protocol, NFT, which doesn't even require fiat currency. It requires no currency whatsoever. You just can go there and get it free of charge and enjoy the idea that if you collect up to 5 of them, you can come and hang out with us. We'll have some fun. Now, speaking of creator economy and speaking of all the things that are, there are 2 things I want to cover. I know we're getting late on time here, but there's 2 things I want to get to today. And I see there's a lot of questions here too. What, Eric, you're asking another question here. Wait, I just need to look at this question. Why is it? Oh, yeah, Eric, let me put this question up. This is a good question. So Eric J is asking, oops, I hit the button twice. Why using an avatar in the first place? Why not be a real person? Well, it's hard to be a real person in a virtual world. It's easy to be a real person in a real world, but it is hard to be a real person in a virtual world. So that's why avatars just are. They are because they are. The thing I want to cover just as we come to a close today, 2 things kind of important. YouTube put out a really interesting missive yesterday on their blog, made on YouTube. Now, they are so flipped out about TikTok. I mean, so flipped out about TikTok that they have gone as far after them as they possibly can. I'm just going to read you some stuff here. There are now 10 ways to get money out of YouTube if you're a creator, and you can come up with up to 45% of the revenue. They have this thing called the Shorts Fund, which is going right after TikTok. They got $100 million that they've distributed so far. They can't wait to get that going. Ads, YouTube Premium, they'll give you a piece of that. Channel memberships, they're going to give you a piece of that. Super Chats, number 5. Super Thanks, there's some money associated with that. Super Stickers, merchandise, ticketing, and YouTube Brand Connect. They have 10 different ways to remunerate creators. They are literally going directly after TikTok, scared to death. Now, part of the promise of Web3, as we understand it, because it's not technically defined, it's just ideologically defined, but part of that is that users and creators will share in the value they create. And I have said for quite a few months, actually quite a few years, that while that is a fairly emotionally satisfying description, it's not complete, nor is it guaranteed to be accurate, because I have often posited or opined all YouTube has to do is give more money to creators. And all of this I share in the value I create stuff is over because the audience is already on YouTube. So with good SEO and with a good campaign on YouTube, you can accomplish what you could never accomplish on your own. If you have a giant community, then you don't need YouTube. They'll just come to your website. But if you need the audience that's on YouTube, all they need to do is pay you more. Well, yesterday, this week, they announced they're going to pay you more. What is that going to mean long term? What is that going to mean long term for Web3? What's that going to mean long term for the assault on TikTok? Because, Meta's going after them. Their Instagram product is going after TikTok as best it can. Twitter's doing everything it knows how to do. Snapchat's doing everything it knows how to do. Everybody's doing everything they know how to do, because for the 8th quarter in a row, TikTok is the most downloaded app. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. To TikTok's credit, and I got to give them a little credit where credit's due, our friends at TikTok announced today that they will not be taking any political advertising nor allowing any political advertising. And I thought that was fantastic. This is, if you read their Global Business Solutions president, Blake Chandley, said they would immediately turn off all, I'm reading this now, they're going to immediately turn off all advertising and monetization features like gifting, tipping for politicians and parties on the platform. Accounts belonging to governments, politicians, and political parties will have to apply for verification. Wow. I think that's really, really, really interesting. So when we asked Facebook why they didn't ban all political advertising, the rote answer from Facebook over the last 5-6 years has been, too many candidates rely on Facebook. They could never afford to get their message out without it. The smaller the town, the more likely the politician is to need Facebook as a platform. TikTok is now the biggest of the big when it comes to this, and they're like, nah, we're not doing it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, for sure. Hey, look, I know you know this, and I say it every week. Friends in the Ukraine, they're still having a very, very rough time. These guys are getting beaten up every day. The Russians are attacking every day. People are getting killed just sitting in their homes, and there's a bunch of people there trying to help them. This ShellyPalmer.com/Ukraine will take you to a site on NBC's Today Show website where a group of vetted charities is there. These charities have been vetted by the social responsibility team at NBC. The money you send there is going to get there, and it's going to help people. And if the tables were turned, you and I know we would hope someone would be helping us. So if you can find it in your hearts to help out our friends in the Ukraine who are just sitting ducks, I hope you will do that. There's also been some terrible stuff going on in Puerto Rico, and there have been some terrible tragedies. There's an unbelievable typhoon hit Alaska. It's every day there's something that's terrible happening. The natural disasters, I think, they're handled by people like the Red Cross, and certainly I'm not saying that these are not worthy causes. But the people in Ukraine have a special problem going on. They're being attacked because they're just alive. So I hope you can help. As you know, this is my super favorite time every week, and I really appreciate you being here. Do not forget your POAP, because we're getting close to CES, and you'll be able to cash these in for some super fun stuff to do. And with that, I will thank you all very much for being here. Don't forget to tweet. Please, a little tweeting. Tweet at Shelly Palmer. And you can hit like and subscribe if you like it. And subscribe. I want to subscribe to this. I will not be here next week or the week after. I'll be in Germany. And then there's I have a family obligation during the Jewish holidays, so I can't join you. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back with another episode of Web3 Wednesday. And I hope everybody has a fabulous, fabulous couple of weeks. To those who celebrate, Happy New Year. We'll see you all next time.